Hey folks, good morning. It's another day in the neighborhood where damn if I don't want to write. Um, I don't want to write. I almost curled up and went back to sleep on the couch this morning. That's where Lou is. Lucky dog. Tried not to get up, but she had to go potty. Very little pee-pee. She could have held it. Weird dreams. Saw the wife last night. She took me grocery shopping, so I got food. But I don't know. Kind of tired this morning. Hi, baby. Hi. What you come to bug me for? Hi. Hi. I said her name, so she got up. Another morning where I don't want to write, and I'm just not feeling it. Like this next chapter. I just did a chapter that ended with Parabol coming on the stand and being all nervous and anxious. And now I have like two more characters where nervousness is like central to their story design and plot. And I'm worried like this is dull. This is boring. As someone who really doesn't read much fantasy, this whole trial scene does not feel exciting to me. It feels natural, but it doesn't feel exciting. So, yeah. I already started chatting with ChatGPT about it, because that's how I get over a lot of my writer's block. It's just like, this is the issue that I'm having. So this morning's note with that so far, here we go. His next chapter is the cupbearer Aldrich and the chef Pomeroy. Feels like logical progression based on how the last chapter has gone. Aldrich's function is to verify the symptoms since he experienced them slightly, and Pomeroy's to lie and implicate Arista in a situation she was never in. I'm a bit nervous about writing two more nervous men. Aldrich blames himself and I think should leave the stand crying, while Pomeroy should enter with confidence, but the more he lies, the more nervous he should appear. Garrett will know he's lying because of his careless words, like seeing Arista milling around the kitchen when she hates heat and fire and avoids it whenever possible. And then ChatGPT got back to me. Your instincts are good here. The danger you're sensing, two more nervous men on the stand, is real, but you're already halfway to solving it. The trick is to make the two interrogations structurally opposite so the energy changes between them. Right now, your plan already suggests that Aldrich, the cupbearer, is steady and breaking. Dramatic role is that he's guilty in guilt and tragedy. Pomeroy, the chef, is confident in unraveling. His dramatic role is deception and suspicion. That contrast alone keeps the chapter alive. Aldrich should be about shame, not fear. If he's just nervous, he'll feel like Parabol again. Instead, make Aldrich devastated by guilt. He believes if the king is poisoned, it must be my fault. That creates emotional gravity. Possible beats. Aldrich kneels before speaking. Cupbearers often had ceremonial loyalty. Refuses to look at the queen. Keeps apologizing. Example tone. I tasted every cup, your majesty, every one. His voice broke. If the poison reached him, then I failed. Now the reader sympathizes with him immediately. Aldrich provides the physical evidence. His purpose isn't suspicion, it's confirmation of Parabol's theory. He should confirm the symptoms because he experienced a small dose. Example, my tongue burned, Aldrich said slowly. Just for a moment, like biting a bitter seed. Parabol might interject, cone bell fungus. Now the court has sensory confirmation. Even better if Aldrich says, I thought it was the wine turning. This supports the added shortly before drinking idea. Aldrich's exit should hurt. You've already had the right instinct. He leaves crying, make it a collapse of dignity. Example, Aldrich tried to stand, but his knees failed him. Two guards had to lift him as he wept apologies to the queen. That raises emotional stakes before the next interrogation. Pomeroy should feel like a performance. If Aldrich is guilt, Pomeroy is ego. When he enters, he should behave like a man who thinks, I know how court works, possible traits, bow to dramatics, speaks loudly to the nobles, jokes with Garth, dismissive of foreign food customs. He believes he's smart enough to control the narrative. The lie should be too specific. The best lies contain unnecessary details. Example, I saw the woman Arista wandering through the kitchens the night before the king fell ill. Already suspicious. Then he adds detailed standing near the ovens. That's where Garrett catches it, because where Garrett knows Arista hates heat and avoids kitchens. Let Garrett realize the lie instantly. This is where your POV shines. Example, Garrett frowned. Arista near the oven? Impossible. Then Garrett recalls she wouldn't even sit near the hearth at dinner. Now the reader trusts Garrett's instincts. The nervousness creeps in. As Pomeroy keeps lying, he starts over-explaining. Signs of unraveling. Repeats phrases, adds unnecessary detail, wipes hands on aprons. Glances towards someone in court. Example, she was stirring something, a pot, perhaps, or herbs. Now the lie is falling apart. Careless words are perfect. You mentioned Garrett catching the lie through careless words. Excellent mystery technique. Example, slip. Everyone saw her. Garrett thinks no one saw her there. That contradicts plants. The contradiction plants suspicion. Even better, Pomeroy reveals something he shouldn't know. This is a great mystery trick. Example, Pomeroy. The king's wine was already on the tray, but only Aldrich and the servants should know that. Garrett thinks, how did the chef know that? Chef, not chef. Now readers suspect Pomeroy, even if he's only a pawn. A strong ending beat. The swamp witch idea should feel like political pivot by Garth. Structure, Pomeroy mentions swamp herbs. Galen babbles about mushrooms. Southrail reacts. Garth seizes the narrative. Example ending, if this poison comes from swamp fungus, Garth declared loudly, then we will simply ask the one who knows such things. You turn to the guards, find the swamp witch. Great chapter hook. One small technique that will make this chapter feel much more alive. Give Garrett a prediction that turns out wrong. Example, Garrett thinks Aldrich will break immediately, but Aldrich holds together longer than expected. Then with Pomeroy, he thinks this man is confident, and slowly you realize he's terrified. Readers love watching the POV character adjust their judgment. One final mystery trick, very useful later. When Pomeroy lies about Arista being in the kitchen, have so-and-so react subtly, not loudly, just something like, he leaned forward with sudden interest. Later readers realize he was listening carefully because he knew that lie mattered. If you'd like, I can show you the real clever way to hide so-and-so's guilt during the interrogation scene so that readers completely miss it the first time but instantly see it on the reread. It's a classic mystery technique used by Christie and Martin. Alright, I'm going to grab my coffee. Like I said, I got no energy this morning, so I think what I'd like to do is just work on the outline today. If I can get a 500-word outline, I'll feel pretty happy with that. It's not exactly progress, but it's just a prerequisite to progress. What do you want, Lou? What do you want, baby? What do you need? You need to go outside again? You need to go potty? You need fresh water? You need more food? I forgot to get you beautiful treats, didn't I? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Hi. Hi, baby. Hi, my baby. Oh. Baby. part of me is tempted to outline this, and another part of me is just write it. Write it poorly if I have to, but just write it. Pants it. Don't plot it, pants it. Yeah, I want to go back to bed. I want to go back to bed or just sit around playing video games or... Yeah. Just indulge in cheap dopamine. That's what I feel like doing. But I should avoid cheap dopamine. Even got it on my wall. Avoid cheap dopamine. Those who attract do not chase. Why feel bad? Angry, put it in a box. Be a creator, not a consumer. Be a creator, not a consumer. Be here now. Ah. That's pantsing it. Meow. Again, if I can just get 500 words, I'll be happy. And this is 155 right now. Oh, but the temptation to just be distracted and go back to sleep. $154 because I took the word out. After Pomeroy left. See, that's the level of tired. Pomeroy, no, it's Paravol. After Paravol left in a huff, Lacey is old. It sounds like a porn star. Lady is old. Lady is old followed. I feel like followed after him is better. Meow, are you hungry too? Yeah? Okay, fine. Yep. Zoomies. She's got the zoomies. Royal Inquisition now calls Sir Aldrich to the stand. He returned to his station behind the empty throne, and the doors opened again. There stood a small man dressed in finery who was hunched over nervously. Sorry to get up so suddenly. I actually got an email. Showed up at the bottom of my screen for an interview for a position that I applied for 2 days ago, I want to say. Okay. I've been asked to come in for an interview at the Lazy Boy Sales Associate on-site interview invite. Um, I'm available all day on Monday. Earlier is better for me. Say between 8 a.m. and noon. It's probably when I'm sharpest. That's awesome. That would be a good job. That would be a very good job. I could do that. Nice little sales position. Uh, yeah. Okay. And I'm at 261 words, so I'm about halfway from the minimum. I'm pretty sure if I hit 500 today, when I hit 500, because it's gonna happen, I'm gonna take a break. I don't know. I don't know. But I know I don't have a lot in me today. This is going decent, though. But I am tired. Hmm.
how she looked, I posted her on my story, and I called her a baddie. You can see where I'm going with this. To my shock and immediate disgust, when I start getting flooded with DMs of people saying I've been exposed. I'm shocked and confused at the time. Exposed for what? What'd I do? And then I come to find out that jewelry body is to grow fingers.
What?
What the fuck? Excuse me? Keep in mind, I had people reach out to me directly to inform me of this. If I hadn't seen those messages and just kept watching the anime, I would have went all the way from like Sabayori to the Reverie and Egghead, not knowing that the girl that they have dressed like this is a fucking child. I legit almost threw up. You're made to believe this is a woman the entire time. Why is she getting treated like Nami? And what makes it even worse was seeing her backstory with Kuma, because now I love how vulnerable her character is. I get that she's able to change her appearance with the power of her double form, but if you're not going to state what her age is earlier in the story, why the fuck are you over-sexualizing her? Even though I love the series overall so much, it's the one thing that continues to bother me about One Piece. Now, I haven't read the manga, so I don't know if this is entirely...
Alright, I gotta stop being distracted, but I really want to get back into One Piece again, but it's such a time suck. It's such a massive series, and then, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, and it doesn't feel like something you can just casually watch and get caught up with the 1,000 plus episodes. Like it's what, up to 1,100 and something like that. Like it's an investment. It's a major chunk of your life. I don't know if I'll ever create a work that epic and expansive. It'd be nice if eventually, like, all my books could rival something like that. Retail recruiting. Okay, I just got another email from them. Business Smart, similar to Business Casual, using a natural color palette. It's in Maple Grove. Duration: interviews typically last about 30 minutes, but can extend up to an hour. Offers generally made within 1 week of the interview. Resume: no need to bring in a printed resume. One will be provided. (11 a.m.) Okay, Monday, 11 a.m. Business Smart, similar to Business Casual, using a natural color palette. Okay. Alright. Lazy Boy Sales Consultant Interviews. David Wagner, Store Manager, Monday, March 16th, 11 a.m. Fountains Way North. Okay. Alright. Sorry, just taking a moment to put it into my calendar. Lazy boy job interview. There. Yo. Yeah, what's up, man? Sorry, I didn't have chat up. How you doing? Are you aware that the king is fallen gravely ill? You are aware, not and. And you are aware. Have you had any luck finding like a Grand Poobah type dude, Overlord, for your setup? Um, I'd like to be, but I don't know that I can really commit to being reliable right now. That's kind of why I backed off from that. Like I know I'm a flake and I tend to forget things and yeah, I don't know if you can rely on me. That's kind of my big deal right now. I'll be right back. Coffee. Hello, Rizzy. Hello, buddy. Coffee. Hello. Good morning, dude. Hmm. Uh, um. Just because I forget things. I got a lot going on in life right now with the writing and looking for a job and trying to fix my marriage and all that stuff. So I'm kind of just all over the place. Yeah, yeah. Like yeah. I even missed another appointment just to sell something this past week. Like I'm constantly making plans and then forgetting them and spacing them out. It's a bad habit of mine. Again, parading in his tight semicircle of predation. Change that, and it's tight, predacious. I mean, it sounds cool. It sounds like an excellent offer. I didn't fully grasp it, but I did a little research into it. It sounds interesting, but it seems like something that I should be approaching from more of a casual angle before committing to anything like quite that grandiose. Like I've never even played a D&D type game except for like once in high school, and we did not finish that campaign. In fact, I think we only had like one, maybe two play sessions. And even prior to you asking me, I was supposed to join another campaign that was going to be going on through Discord, and I got booted from that by not replying to a comment soon enough. And you are aware that the king is fallen gravely ill, are you not? Garth placed his hands behind his back and began parading in his tight, predacious semicircle. Every voice was stifled. No murmurs. No gossips. Just rows of judgment. watching one of their own struggle not to fall. Did I just caps lock? I just caps locked. Fall apart. Sat between the crowd, physically and socially. Crowd birth and palate. That's not how you spell palate. And a servant to the king. It's all my fault. As if he had just achieved some grand victory. Looked up through his eyebrows and tear-rimmed eyes at the queen. I should have known. It was my job in royal privilege to have known. He raised his crumpled velveteen hat. That's not how you spell velveteen. Velveteen hat with its long feather to his face and pride into it. Why do I do that? Why do I repeat words? And that's 508 words. Awesome. I hit 500 today. I did not want to write this morning, but I managed to hit my minimum, and I pantsed it. I set out originally to plot it, but I pantsed it. I feel good. I feel good about this. I feel better than when I started, for sure. Damn it. But there's that temptation to just kind of quit. I mean, I got some coffee. I'm starting to wake up, but it's almost 8. But it is windy as hell. Ugh. I'm gonna pop this into ChatGPT and get my verdict back, my little pat on the back for what I've done so far, since ChatGPT is only good at telling you, like, no, you're doing good, you're doing awesome. When I edit, I'm gonna put it in critical mode and have it actually like teach me how to write better, because that's a lot of what I'm getting from ChatGPT, is a lot of like tips and advice, and it's not very often that I have it generate anything, and if I do, every single line of that needs to be rewritten, because it has its faults majorly. What? Oh, what? What? I'm sorry. Stupid social media. It's got my number. Dirt cake ice cream with Albanese gummy worms inside that stay soft and chewy. So I mix a vanilla and chocolate pudding ice cream with blended Oreo cookies and mini gummy worms. Ooh. Where else can I find this ice cream? Target. Kroger, Albertsons, CVS. Lowe's Foods. Oh. Shit. Oh shit. Ooh, I need that. Oh, I need that. Well, look at that. Sorry, now I'm distracted with Robinhood and seeing that crypto is making another bump up. Not enough to get me out of the red, but it's a bump up. Okay. Could be a good Friday. Yeah. Yeah. Looks like some shit's rebounding. I might sell some stocks, make a little money today. That would be nice. Alright. Alright. This scene is already working well. The emotional tone is clear. Aldrich feels sympathetic, and Garth's predatory behavior comes through nicely. What you mainly need now is tightening and sharpening the dramatic beats, not restructuring the scene. The biggest strengths you already have: Aldrich's visible shame, Garth's performative cruelty, the room's silence and judgment, Garrett observing from the side. Those are exactly the right ingredients. Below are a few targeted adjustments that will make the scene flow smoother and hit harder emotionally. Trim repetition in the entrance. Right now, Aldrich's nervousness is described 3 different ways in a row. You can compress this to make it sharper. I do that a lot when I'm not sure how to write or approach a scene. I will hammer in details. So, original condensed problem. Hunched nervousness, shrinks at being seen, legs shaking, hides behind chairs, shrinks again at queen. That's good imagery, but tightening it increases impact. Example, tightening, there stood a small man dressed in finery, hunched as though trying to make himself smaller. When the doors opened and the court saw him, he seemed to shrink further. His legs trembled, and with each step toward the exposed chair in the center of the hall, he stopped behind it and gripped the back rest like a shield. This keeps the idea but removes the redundancy. Okay. and then that breaks it up. Okay, that works for pacing. The queen moment is excellent, just clarify it. This is a strong emotional beat, but when his eyes beheld the queen, he shrank behind the seat. You can sharpen this. He nodded quickly to Garth and Garrett, but when his eyes lifted to the queen, he recoiled, retreating behind the chair as if it might hide him. Aldrich's first line is perfect. Keep it quiet. This line works well. I am, you whispered into the quiet hall, but you can heighten the silence slightly. I am. This paragraph is excellent. Every voice was stifled. No murmurs, no gossips, just rows of judgment, watching one of their own struggle not to fall apart. So Aldrich sat between the crowd. Physically and socially, he was both a noble of proud birth and palate and a servant to the king. Every voice was stilled. No murmurs, no gossip, just rows of judgment, watching one of their own struggle not to fall apart. So Aldrich sat between the crowds. Physically and socially, raw assessment. You're doing three things very well here. Emotional contrast, Aldrich versus Garth, class tension, noble versus servant, court atmosphere of the watching crowd. Those are exactly what make interrogation scenes compelling. Yeah, I'm having a very hard time with the interrogation scenes, and there's been so many interrogation scenes that I've been writing. It's getting monotonous to me, the writer, so I'm really worried about reader fatigue when this comes down to the final publication. And now I'm under 500 words, so I feel like I do need to do at least another line. It's Longfeather. I have such a hard time with the possessive apostrophe not being needed in the word it's. It really bugs me how that works out. He raised his crumpled velveteen hat with its long feather to his face and cried into it. Why didn't she at least shout out the words at the defenseless man? Aldrich confessed. The night of the feast. hear it. Who dares? Yes. Yeah, I gotta uninstall Finch. I don't need that anymore. Okay, that puts me at 750, so that's an extra 50% than what I had been planning on. Control-Delete. So I'd say I'm about halfway through the scene. This section is doing something very effective structurally. Garth is guiding Aldrich toward the conclusion he wants rather than Aldrich volunteering it. That's exactly how manipulative interrogators work. You're on the right track. What will improve the scene most now is tightening the dialogue and sharpening the manipulation so the reader clearly feels that Garth is leading the witness. Right now, Aldrich's answer is a little long and explanatory for a man who is crying and ashamed. If we shorten the break and break it into emotional beats, the tension rises. right, it's after 8. I did 773 words when I wanted to stop at 500. Didn't even want to start today. Pantsed it. This is a pantser, did it by the seat of my pants, and it's decent. It's definitely decent. I don't like the pacing that the suggestions from ChatGPT does, but if I am going to be releasing this on KDP, which I might do, these single lines work actually very well. They don't work if I want to, like, do that. I don't like how that works. If I want to indent my paragraphs. So I don't know if I will. I didn't for the first one. I might for the second one. Actually, no. I was thinking I was going to try something a little bit different for the first edition of this, because that'll be the digital read. I'm not going to indent my paragraphs because that's better for reading on the phone and reading on tablets. But then when I do the print version, I'm going to go through and indent all of my paragraphs, because that looks better on the page and it takes it away from the center line of the book a little bit. So yeah, that's my writing stream for this morning so far. Hopefully I get back to it. Like I said, this scene, I was thinking was going to be, yeah, I don't know, 1,500 words. Is that about right? You're setting up a nice romantic contrast. Aldrich scene, emotional, tragic, manipulated, and implicating Arista. Pomeroy scene, confident, calculated, lying intentionally. The contrast will keep the chapter from feeling repetitive. Sweet. One thing you did very well, the wine bitterness clue is excellent mystery writing. You established wine tasted bitter, poison unstable, administered shortly after drinking. Aldrich drank some. It all fits together logically. Readers will feel the investigative process progressing. If you'd like, I can also, one small line, to add the scene that is quietly foreshadowing so-and-so's guilt without any reader noticing it. Is the kind of clue that becomes obvious. See, the thing is, as soon as I include anything about, like, the culprit into the story, it automatically becomes obvious to me, I think. So I'm being very hesitant about that. It's probably something I'm going to seed in on one of my edits. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call this and log off and end the stream. Probably going to play a little Warframe later after I humanize myself and start my day and go through some of my rituals. So thank you, anybody who's joined me on Twitch, on YouTube, on Kick. I appreciate it. Pretty soon I'm going to be adding Substack to my streams. I really got to get more serious about working on Substack. But peace out. I'll be back. Probably. At least to do some gaming. I finished my bookmark, so I should get in and do some more work on the cover for book 1. Maybe I'll do some more writing today. It would be awesome if I could at least finish Aldrich's section today. That would be a victory. All right, peace out.